Hello, and welcome to another edition of A Moment of Inspiration. I'm your host, LaToya Crawford. The songwriter says, it takes two to make a thing go right. Then someone else says, it takes two, baby, me and you. And today we're going to talk about the concept of two. Teamwork makes the dream work when it comes to a marriage. You know, here in Thomasville, we're big on sports, football, basketball. But what about teamwork when it comes to you and your spouse? Well, that's the topic of today's discussion on A Moment of Inspiration. Teamwork in your marriage. And I have a beautiful, lovely couple. Came all the way from Tallahassee, Florida, the Cards. Welcome, Angelise and Terrence Card, to A Moment of Inspiration.
Hi, LaToya. Thanks for having us. Glad to be here today.
You are so welcome. I'm just honored to have you all here because of the concept is so inspiring and it's such a need for what you all have to say. You all see it, the t-shirts speak for themselves. Team marriage. Angelise, what is that all about?
Well, team marriage for us is the idea that, just as you mentioned in sports, that it takes a team to win. The same approach is required in marriage. It takes husband and wife working together to accomplish goals and to have a successful marriage.
Amen. I totally agree with that, and I think you all watching can agree with that. And I'm just so fascinated with the fact that you got your husband to come along with you with this concept of team marriage. Terrence, you wearing the t-shirt loud and proud.
Right.
So what does this say for men in the marriage?
Well, to me, a man should always be out front, you know, the head of his house. So in order for the house to grow, for the marriage to keep, the man has to be in the place. We're that foundation. So if we're in the right place, doing what we should be doing, there shouldn't be a reason that the family should make it as a whole. So as being the man and the head of my house, you know, I'm here. I'm team marriage.
Team marriage. Yeah. You say it. Team marriage. And I'm so glad, Terrence, you mentioned the word family. Because we're living in a season now and a time where families are falling apart. You know, statistics are showing that divorce rate is so high, and, you know, people are buying bigger cars and spreading out this intimacy with the family, bigger houses. But you all come today to stand for a team marriage, to stand for getting back together to the closeness, the oneness of being a family, and the husband and wife being a unit, one unit.
Absolutely. You're right, LaToya. We definitely believe, as Terrence has said, in the husband being the head of our house and the head of our marriage. However, for us to be successful in marriage, we have to work together. We have to understand our roles and our goals in marriage so that we can accomplish, you know, having a successful marriage and a successful family.
That's right. So tell me how this started. Like one day you all just said, hey, team marriage, like, how did this concept come about?
Well, for me, it actually started through Facebook. I would make posts, you know, everyone kind of just throws out how they feel on there, and I felt compelled to be more positive. And if I were to make a post, it would need to be something that would be uplifting and something that would be beneficial to the reader. So I consulted God, and He led on my heart to just start posting things that He would, little nuggets I would call them, in the morning, and they often pertain to marriage. So the team marriage title kind of came about. out of joking. It kind of came about, we were given that name, TeamMarriage, and it stuck. And from there, I would just hashtag all of my daily post with TeamMarriage. From there, we started our own Facebook page. Now we've launched our first shirt, the first item on our brand. And God is just taking us to places we never even imagined or thought possible.
This is unbelievable. In fact, that's how I noticed you all on Facebook. I mean, there are couples all over bragging with the shirt. You see their posts, their pictures, and it's not just the woman, it's the man with them taking the pictures, and that's what teamwork is, truly team marriage. And what I really loved about it was that TeamMarriage has actually just traveled across demographics. Yes. I see people of all races, yes, of all ages, bragging with the shirt, wearing the shirt.
And you know, LaToya, that is something that has moved me. It continues to move me, and I tell my husband that it is so moving to see men proudly wear a TeamMarriage shirt to represent their inner commitment with an outward symbol of this shirt. I had one young man who said this was like, he was so excited about receiving his shirts that it was similar to waiting on the new Jordans to release.
Wow.
And so he could not wait to represent his team by wearing a TeamMarriage shirt. TeamMarriage has definitely traveled across the globe in such a short span of time. We have, I have a family in Singapore who will be representing the TeamMarriage. We have from Florida and Georgia, Alabama, different states represented, and we're just excited that people are checking back into their marriage. And if you notice on the shirt, it says, I do. It's not a wedding shirt only, but if you've been married for any period of time, you realize that you have to constantly recommit yourself to the vows that you initially made of saying, I do, on a continual basis, to your commitment to remain faithful and remain in your marriage.
That's amazing. You all at home, just hand clap. I mean, that's just amazing. And the t-shirt design, tell me how you came up with this. I know you tried other aspects, but you had to personalize it yourself, right?
I did. I definitely reached out and thought that someone else could give me a vision of, or help me with my vision. And God dealt with me. I would review the different shirts, and it just didn't click for me. So I felt compelled to try it myself. And so I went to the internet and started designing, and this is what we've come up with. Showed it to my husband, and he said it was something that he as a man would wear and would feel proud to wear. So I felt he was a good representative for the males, for the husbands out there, and we went from there. And from there, it's just been widely accepted. The men and the women alike are really taking to this design.
I agree. Okay. Terrence, why do you think the men are so willing to accept the concept of TeamMarriage?
Well, I think it's bringing what they started out with, actually reminding them where they started from, and the shirt is giving them that extra boost. And that's how I feel about it. That I remember when I went to the altar with her. And it's like they're being remarried again, but only representing wearing a TeamMarriage T-shirt. So it's putting the union that God has placed together back out on the forefront again. It's refreshing in the marriages that are around, and the men are grabbing hold to it. I mean, and running with it, excited about it. Yeah.
Why do you think, Terrence, it's important to be reminded of your vows?
See, because sometimes we get complacent. You know, we have a lot going on in life. You know, ups and downs, but we have to be reminded from whence we came. We've had our shares of ups and downs, you know, and nobody, you know, but God brought us through it. So it's always to remember back to where you first started, you know, and that will remind you of where you have to go. Even though, you know, money may get funny, hard times may come about, you know, you may lose a job or whatever, but regardless, at the end of the day, we got each other. And so I do. And I do plan to take it back to where we first started. So let's continue, keep it in that mold. But with life, you know, life has its punches, and sometimes we get hit pretty hard. But at the same time, when you still have each other, and I think even in those hard times, we have to leave the doors of communication open. So that, and it reminds us that we're not in it by ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah, and so I think the Team Marriage shirt is like a refreshing thing right now, and we need it because you said most families now in the United States, they're saying that 1 out of 2 marriages, you know, gonna make it.
I like what you said. You said life gets hard, and sometimes we get punched really hard when we fall down. Well, that's when your backup can pick you back up. Your wife or your husband. You know, you serve each other. So you're that support and that support system, and that's what's needed. And you mentioned your family. How many kids do you all have?
We have 3 children. We have an 18-year-old daughter, 12-year-old son, 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old son. So we have 3 children.
And I understand, and for those out there, this is not the perfect family because you all, what they call a ready-made family, you had children prior to marrying, right?
That's right. I was a single mother at the time that I met my husband. Our daughter was 2 or 3 years old, and Terrence and I, we met, and he stepped into the role as being a father after saying I do, and we have added to that union 2 additional children, and we've been blessed to just come together. We've bonded. We are a family. There's no stepdaughter and stepdad. We are family. That's dad, that's daughter.
So what do the kids think? Do they think you all are celebrities now, mom and dad, you know, the Card family?
They're pretty excited. I think out of the 3, our youngest is most excited. Trey is 8 years old, and he is ecstatic about Team Marriage. He requested that we order him a Team Marriage t-shirt. So he has his own t-shirt, which he has been representing us with his t-shirt on.
An 8-year-old.
An 8-year-old.
Team Marriage.
Yes.
How about that?
And our sons, our daughter is away at college, so she doesn't live in the home, but our sons have, when the t-shirts arrive, they help me prep the t-shirts for the order. So it's a family affair. It's a team affair. It's all hands on deck. All of us are involved in this process. One, we have such a large representation and support from near and far, and I know that this is just only the beginning. And as TC has mentioned, it's a reminder of why we said I do in the beginning. It's a reminder, it's a refresher, and it adds just that little excitement back to marriage, where sometimes things become a little bit mundane. You know, you have financial issues and family issues and work issues, and sometimes those things cause some division and some separation in the marriage. But these shirts have prompted date nights, which we love, because you have to go back to being boyfriend and girlfriend occasionally, so you keep the marriage hot. And that's what we want. We want there to be hot and spicy, exciting and healthy and whole relationships across the globe, because it produces healthy, happy families, children, community, neighborhood, society. It just goes hand in hand with everything.
I agree. Angeles, you all are actually planning a date night event April 25th in Tallahassee. Tell us about that.
We're so excited. We're having the first Team Marriage date night April 25th from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Skate Inn West on Bluntstown Highway in Tallahassee. The theme is fun and team building, so everything will be centered around getting back to having fun with your spouse and building team. So we will do the hokey pokey, we will have the limbo, we will have racist team, and everything that is, all of the games will be couples, centered around couples doing it together. The goal will be to win the games together. We have door prizes, we have food catered in, great music, and it's just a great opportunity to have fun and to laugh and have a great time with our spouse. Often we forget how to have fun because we're in different roles of being parents and, you know, employees and wearing so many different hats. But that evening on April 25th, we invite you to contact us at #TeamMarriage@gmail.com if you're interested in purchasing tickets. It's very affordable, but it will be an amazing time for the husband and wife to go out and have fun together.
Wow. So, Angeles, that sounds so exciting. And Thomasville, you all know that is the road show weekend, and we're packed with all these events. And, of course, Friday is the parade, and I'll be hosting it live. But that Saturday, you know, you can attend those daily morning events. And then that night, travel to Tallahassee to the date night event, April 25th, starting at 3?
At 4:30.
At 4:30.
Yeah.
Listen, if you were inspired by the show today, empowered by the show, motivated by the show, I want you to reach out to me. send me an email at blessings12@yahoo.com. You see it right there on the screen again, blessings12@yahoo.com. Thank you so much, Angelise.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
we
you for
appreciate
having
the
us.
opportunity
You
to
are so
share.
welcome. Stay motivated and do the right thing and just be inspired. You've watched A Moment of Inspiration with LaToya Crawford. See you next time.